Rassie, a lot's been spoken about last week, but a new week in Test match rugby, and plenty can change in 80 minutes.
People say a week is a long time, and it feels like a really long time. I think we haven't lost not for a while, but we went in the game in the last 10 minutes, and I think from that last 10 minutes, or right from half time, this game has been playing over our heads, and we can't wait for Saturday. So it is a long time to wait, but you've got another chance on Saturday, and I guess that's how we see it as a team.
Plenty of changes to the team. What was your main thinking behind this team? Obviously, a lot more experience, different weather conditions possibly.
Yeah, well, 6-2 firstly. I think we thought altitude, we got it wrong there. And we thought moving them around, they got big boys, Skelton and so on. But they really handled it well, and I think we also gave it to them on a platter a bit. It's a bit wetter here. Everybody will have the same amount of oxygen and used to sea level. So we think it's going to be a grind of a game. If we're going to have it our way, we'll have a grind of a game. And I think they will know it by team selection, and I think they will do the same, also have a 6-2 split.
Rassie, also, if you look at the pack, plenty of power, and Jean-Luc, Dupree, Franco Mostert, big heavy guys that make meters, also a very experienced bench to come on to, well, in the second half.
Yeah, our second half were awful last week, so I think that's a clear indication that when we use those guys, Wilco hasn't really ever played off the bench for us, so it'll be interesting to see how he does against a player that's maybe a little bit more tired, and the game is a little bit more slower, and he can focus on his scrums and then on his general play. And then having guys like Luit and Eben on the bench, and Quagga as well, it's pretty experienced. So if we have to close it out in the end, or have to catch up, that's more experience coming on. And then hopefully Willie brings what he always brings is the balance and attack, and when to kick and when to run. And then we all can learn from that. Fassi and Gaza and so on, they're all working really well together. And the centre pairing, having Cheslin back, so a pretty settled team. Last week, no excuses, they beat us, but we know what we did wrong, and now we must go and fix it.
Rassie, a lot spoken about mindset, generally after a loss like this, people talk about revenge, and but the reality is the first 20 minutes were brilliant, and it's a thin line between going too hard and almost being too energized or too aggressive in terms of revenge.
Yeah, well, I guess all of us in the coaches' box all thought, no, let's put the pedal on now, we put the gas on and let's finish them now. And they were really clever, they just stayed off the breakdown, and then when the good opportunity was there, they bite really hard, got a few turnovers. We gave them, I think, 3-4 tries without playing a face. Was the intercept or Andre trying to offload, and then they run the length of the field. And then we also had a few injuries, and guys had to play out of position, and some guys stayed on the field because we didn't have any reserves anymore. We've used all, like Kirtley at the end and Edwell, they're both out for the game. Peter Steff got concussion. Sia, his knee, we also lost Marco. So there was a little bit of a storm altogether, like a perfect storm, and we didn't handle that really well. So we got another chance this weekend.
Talking about Australia, obviously very confident obviously after last week's result. Are you expecting anything different from them in terms of selection or?
Yeah, I think I think Slipper got concussion. Obviously the wing pitch broke his jaw, so there will be new guys there. I think they only flew in one new player. I think it's a winger. So that team that beat us, if I was Joe, I wouldn't change a lot. So we pretty much expect them to pick more or less the same guys, apart from injury. Of course, the guys who played against us, they gave as Algar Miller say, they gave us carrots. Yeah, I think Marnus and Boan got a bit of a taste last weekend. The first two scrums, the first one was a free kick against them for early movement, and the second one was a collapse. And you now know what it feels like to play a Tier 1 nation, and Marnus is very excited to also get that feeling of playing a team like Australia. And they will be doing it with great locks behind them and some experienced guys. So it's nice, Kitsy and Front and those guys It's unfortunate they're not available, and between Thomas and the guys we're having, and Gerrit Steenkamp can come back, and Tux and Tunu, all of those guys will be coming available, but these two guys have an opportunity now against a tier 1 team with good locks and guys who can scrum really well. But also Marnus and Boan is really good carriers of the ball. Marnus is also good on the ground, so hopefully we don't just see scrumming, we also see the general play.
Rassie, last question, the weather conditions. I mean, how much does that affect tactically? Because Ellis Park was a lot more ball and play,
Yeah.
a lot more running, whereas Cape Town, you know, you've been here, the weather could get pretty messy here.
Yeah, that's why Andre is probably, we think, a good choice. And having a guy like Sasa on the bench, you know, if there's an injury or we have to get some fire into that back line, he's a great guy to bring on. But I think Andre playing at Leicester now for years, you know, he's normally playing in the wet. He's from Cape Town, so if it's raining, I think that's why we also went 6-2. It's probably going to be a bit of a grind of a game. But if it's dry also, you know, then we have the Cheslins, and yes, they really have some exciting backline players in their team as well. But last week it was too loose, so if it rains, the last test match was against the British Irish Lions in the rain, and they did really well. And we're pretty used to rain, so whatever it pitch up, you know, we have to pitch up in the same mindset.